Rita, and in this episode I own a healthy snack bar business. Customers can purchase snack bars based on their favorite flavor, or they can opt for a weekly subscription which would include 7 snack bars as I would say more a mystery, so you would not know until you have received that box. Originally I have used notepad, so pen and pad, as well as little bit spreadsheets to manage my business operations, but now I have decided that I need to start using software which would help me to manage little bit stock, make sure that I can issue invoices and record expenses as well as supplier invoices. So I have decided to start using an accounting software called Xero. Xero is for small businesses as well as for medium-sized businesses, and currently I am quite small business, but I anticipate to actually grow over the next couple of months, so Xero is quite good choice for me at this moment. Before I start with registration process and going through settings section, I want to let you know that you can always skip to the section which you want to watch more, or which is more interesting to you, or section which you want to watch first. To do so, all what you need to do is just basically go to description section below, and there is all timestamps with section descriptions provided. So just skip to the section which you want to watch first. Or you can watch this tutorial in sections, so once you complete one section, you can always watch next section at a later point. So let's not drag this intro very long. Let's register on Xero and go through settings section. Okay guys, type in your browser xero.com and press enter. You will be guided to this landing page, and from here to register, click on try Xero for free. You will have 30 days free trial, so in my case I will be able to test and trial this accounting software 30 days for free. No credit cards or debit card details required to provide at the registration point, and the same, there is 24/7 online support and I can cancel anytime. I will need to fill in this form, so I will need to provide my personal details like name and surname, email address, phone if you want to provide, location, plus confirms that you are not a robot or like a system bot, so you are actually a real person behind filling this form up, and also that you confirm terms and conditions on privacy notice and etc. And if you want, you can opt in for an option to receive marketing communications. Okay, let's fill in details. Okay, once you have filled in details, click submit. Oh, phone number. Okay. Next step, I need to verify my account, so I will need to go to my email address, which is provided here, but in your case, it will be your email address. So let's go to our mailbox, refresh. Okay, where is my email? It kind of shows that the email is there. Okay, confirm your email address. Click on that blue button called yes, it's me, let's get started. Here we need to set a password, so type in password, strong password. Okay, and I don't want to receive any marketing communications, but it's your preference. Okay, and activate account. Okay, now we need to fill in details about business. So in my case, I need to fill in business information about my business. So my business name is Rita K. My industry is let's type in, so retail. Whoa, there's lots of different kind of retail. So retail bakery, shoe retailers, fast food. Okay, can choose which one is more closer. So even adult retail is there. Cannabis retailing, is it even legal? Okay, so I will say online retailing. Okay, country is United Kingdom for me, and financial year, select what is your last day of financial year. I'm a sole trader in this case, so my financial year finished on 5th April 2022. So 5th April, let's select from drop down list April, and let's select date. So on 5th April is when my last financial year finished. And the question is, do I have employees? No, at this moment it's just me. Are you registered for VAT? If you are registered for VAT, leave it ticked, otherwise just deselect. Okay, and I can buy now. In that case, I can pay monthly subscription, or I can start trial. Okay, just select I'm not a robot and start trial. Okay, so we need to log in again, so I will use my email address and password what I created to log into my Xero account. Login. Okay, you can add a second layer of security, so add a multi-factor authentication. I will skip at the moment, but for security reasons, I would suggest you to do so, to set up. In that case, for example, your phone will be another source to identify that is you who is trying to sign on to your account. Okay, not now for my case. Okay, here I am. At the top header you will have an information that you have 30 days left in your trial, or whatever, how many days are left. So in my case I just signed up, so I have 30 days to use this software for free, and then to sign for one of the paid packages depending of my business needs. Okay, so first thing after registration is, before I start to record all transaction under every of these sections, it's of course settings. And to access settings, we need to go on this box and click on drop down box. So firstly, before I go to settings, there is files. That would be if you will upload any files to your Xero's account, you will have access here. Also, subscriptions and billings can be checked there and accessed if needed. And plus, there is one great feature on Xero's: you can access demo company and do test and trial and go through without actually adding information on your real account first. So that would help you to get familiar with accounting software. So issuing invoice, recording transactions or expenses or recording bills, you can use demo company for it. So let's go to settings section. That's priority to look at this section. Okay. So under here, under settings section, we have two parts. First part is general, which includes 5 categories to look at. And then there is features, which is more like align or make your life easier. So firstly, let's look at general section. So first one is organization details. So that's about address, logo, and basic information about my business. So for example, my display name and legal trading name is Rita K, and I can upload logo if you use one. In my case, I haven't created logo yet, so I have no logo to add. But if you're sending invoices to your customers, adding your personalized logo might really enhance that feeling that you know what you're doing in your business. Yeah. So what is your line of business? That's type or industry of business. So that's their organization type. That's where you decide or select one of available types of business. So I'm sole trader in my case, but if you are like limited company or partnership, select one of available from drop down list. So sole trader for me. If you have registration number, so for example, like for limited company, you can add it there, or unique taxpayer reference if you wish. I would leave blank at the moment. And plus organization description can be provided. So talking about registration number, if you're sole trader, don't add this information here because that would show up on your invoices and you don't want to show your tax references or information. It's only if you have like limited companies registration numbers and put in registration number, section. Okay, and if you want to provide more details about your business on invoice or statements, add it here in this box. Okay, next section is contact details. That's the address of your company. So for example, I will type in my details of my business. So my street is Healthy Street. I will say I'm based in London, and okay. Country is United Kingdom, and attention, if there is details of person, to attention to particular, like in my case it would be to Rita Krakowska. I can add it here if I wish, but just leave blank at the moment. If you have different physical address from postal address, you can add details there. Otherwise, you can select same as postal address, so you've got the same business address and the same maybe office-based registered address. Telephone number, email address, and website can be provided here. Otherwise, you can leave blank. So email address, I will have Positive Rita here. So that's my contact email address. Okay, click save. So changes have been saved. Now I can move to next section under organization settings. Under general section is users. So if you have larger team, then you can add users who would use your system. So for example, in my case, I'm the main admin person on this company, but I can invite user by clicking here. So invite a user, fill in details, add email address, and then you can give access to particular sections, and there is a details provided what each section would allow this user to do. And plus you can add a personal message as well by clicking there, and then send invite. So in that case, you can manage multiple users in your system and give particular permissions for them to navigate on your accounting software. So in my case, I'm the only one at the moment, so I will not change any users in this case. Okay. Also, you will see login history, so who logged in when it's been registered, and etc. Okay. So let's go back to my settings. Currencies, so you can change currencies. In my case, defaulted currency would be a pound. So to add currency, click on add currency here. And I can select currency. So for example, euros. And if I will use euros, there will be latest exchange rates provided, and it shows from where these latest exchange rates will be showed up. Okay. If you select, let's say, Australian dollars, it's showing what would be provided for Australian dollars and what would be exchange rate towards it. So you can add as many currencies as you wish or as you need. If you're just trading in one currency, like in my case, it's defaulted in pound currency, then I will just keep as it is. Otherwise, you can add currencies by clicking there. Okay. So let's go back to settings. So connected apps, from here you can add or connect your Xeros to different apps. And for example, if you need to manage your business via like payments, you want to enable e-payments, then you can do it. There is more apps available. Just type in search box, for example, Stripe. and it shows stripes there, but there is, as you can see, so many different e-payment apps available to connect from your Xero's account. Okay, so let's go back to settings, and last section under general part is subscription and billing. So here it will show that any subscriptions if you have subscribed, or you can manage subscriptions and you will be moved to next tab, and different subscription types will be provided. So now I'm in trial, but if I want to buy something, I can click on buy now, and I can select one of the 4 packages available, and there is also pricing, and then add any add-ons, select billing account, and then pay. So you can also see features, what's included. So on starter pack, which costs £12 per month, you have only 20 invoices what you can send out, and enter only 5 bills, so 5 supplier invoices. All other ones will need to be entered as expenses. So just keep that point in mind. Okay, so that's about subscriptions section. So we covered general side. Under features, we can set up invoice settings, so you can change and amend invoice settings. This is a defaulted invoice. Logo can be uploaded, and under options you can edit, copy, upload logo, or preview. So you can change. So this is how it will show up. There, that's like, if you want to see more details, just go through at the top of buttons available, and you can select what you want to do with this template. Okay. Under invoice settings, there is payment services. So if you want to enable e-payments, that's where the payment options can be enabled, done. So you can see Stripe, Go Cardless, PayPal used, and etc. So to make life easier, you can enable e-payments from payment services here. Email settings, you can set up a reply message if you want. So there is templates, so there is 8 standard templates, and there is showing what is a defaulted email. So I can edit any templates provided there, including remittances and statements and sales invoices. Yeah, so just click on it and you can amend information here. Everything in squared brackets is already taken. Information will be taken from system. So for example, it will take name if you have provided contact name on contact field. So it will take from the contact field and pre-fill. So it's like a defaulted, like a programming type of way created an email template. So it doesn't matter to whom you're issuing invoice, it will automatically pick up information based on invoice what's been issued from contact list. So that's where contact name comes from. Yeah, so you can amend this information if you want, or add extra information, so as you wish. Okay, so that's about email settings. Then we have payroll settings. So manage payroll settings on this function, or not function, under this section, and you can see it's already like brought into payroll section from the main screen, and there is like multiple places to go. So if you will have employees, this will be first steps to go through to add payroll accounts, add tax information, and add employees, and etc. So let's go to our settings. Xero to Xero, it's good feature. So if your business start to use Xero and you have supplier who uses Xero or customer who uses Xero, you can actually enable like a link, how's it calling, network key. So you can share network key between your and another Xero account. So if you issue invoice to customer, they will receive that invoice automatically in their account. They will need to approve, I guess. And the same would be if your supplier using Xero, when you exchange these keys and like unlock or enable, you will be able to receive automatically invoice once supplier have issued to you. So this is a section called Xero to Xero. So it's kind of creating a link or network between Xero accounting software users. Okay. So that feature can save a time if you decide to use it. Okay, and then there is custom contact links, so shortcuts can be added and managed if you wish to from this section. So if I go back, now we have covered all parts of settings. This is the area where you add your, mainly adding your business details like address or changing currencies, and plus adding users. Those are the key areas to actually in settings to make sure that your invoices display correct information, and plus your team actually can have correct access or permissions to use accounting software. And on right hand side, those are mainly invoice settings and any e-payments if you want to enable. So that's like, it's why it's called features, so to make your life easier. So now we have covered settings section, as well as how we can register on Xero accounting software. I came from my bank account, as I just opened a business bank account as well as business credit card. So now I can pay for my purchases with my credit card instead of paying from business bank account. So I will be able to easier manage my expenses. Plus I took a little bit cash out as well, so I can pay for expenses in places where credit card is not approved, which is very rarely, right? So how I can add multiple bank accounts as well as cash account on Xero's. So let's have a look on next section, which is falling under accounting section, and it is called bank accounts. So now let's add bank accounts. To add bank accounts, we need to go to accounting section, and there is bank accounts. Here, to add a bank account, we need to click on Add a Bank Account button here. And now we need to search by bank name. So for example, I will select Lloyd's Business in my case. And if you want to enable automatic bank feeds, you can agree and log into bank account. So all transactions what will be in bank account will be pulled automatically, and then you will need to review it. I will show a manual process, so how bank reconciliations can be done at a later time when you actually upload a CSV files. So for that purpose, I will skip and I will add a manual account instead of linking it to my bank account. Yeah. So, and I'm asking not to connect in my case, yeah? So it's up to you. If you want to enable automatic bank feeds, it's easy and simple, straightforward process, go through step by step. But if you don't want to link to your bank account and want to upload manually bank statements, this is a way how you can do it, yeah? So account name, I will put a business account. Okay, and account type, it will be my everyday. So current account. Add sort code, you can find on your card. If you have your debit card and credit card, you can find your account numbers there. So how many digits I put? 4, 5, right, okay. And select currency, in my case is pound sterling, okay. And continue. So now we have added our business account. Let's add another bank account, but in this case it's credit card account. In the same way, I will select my Lloyd's Business. But you can search and you will find there's lots of banks provided, so you can link it, okay? So I will skip, don't connect my bank, and this will be my credit card. From account type, select credit card and last digit numbers. Okay, and continue. Okay, as well as having my business account and credit card account, I also have had some cash in hands, right? So I will add bank account, but it will be actually my cash account. I will use the same business account. I will definitely skip it. Okay. And I will call cash account. Okay, and I will select another. So Okay, and click Save. So now we can manage account, and from here we can find, so account transactions, bank statements. We can add new, like we spend money, receive money, or transferred money between accounts. We can reconcile account, add bank rules, look at reconciliation reports, or import manually statement, and view status updates and get bank feeds. In getting bank feeds means that it will be linked to my bank account. I don't want to do it at this moment. So when I click on edit account details, here you will be able to change bank, account name, sort code, and account number if you need to do. So how I can add an opening balances to my business account, cash account, and credit card account. Okay, there is no opening balance for credit card account because I just opened it. So to add an opening balances, we need to go to accounting and click on advanced. From here, under advanced settings, there is conversion balances. And here I can add amounts what were on opening balances. So in my business account, I had £1,500 as an opening balance. And of course, debit is 1,500, since there should be a credit. And in my case, I will just remove by clicking on this like red button, removing the lines which are not required for the journal, and I will click add a new line. In my case, debit was 1,500, but that is my personal funds into business account. So I can select from liabilities section, and you can see by this header, so liabilities is that business, when it will start to do very well, will repay me back 1,500. Okay, so I'm looking at liabilities and I'm trying to find like I would say director's loan account will be fine with me, and then 1,500. Okay, and click save. Okay, so now this has been recorded. When I go back to bank accounts, I can see that my opening balance is 1,500. So if I took out cash, which I took about £90, then the way how I can move £90 out from business account into cash account is by clicking on transfer money. So from account, business account, to my cash account, I took out on 27th, let's say on 1st, and I took out £90. Okay, and click transfer. So now I have 1,410 in my account and £90 are in my cash account. So this is how we can add a bank account and also add an opening balance in our business account and do a transfer once we have taken money out. I opened credit card account as well. I took some cash out, that's done as well. Opening balances, tax rates, tax periods, chart of accounts. I need to amend chart of accounts in line with my business needs. So we need to look on advanced settings first before I start to add my contacts. Let's have a look on accounting section called advanced, subsection called advanced. So I went through settings section, like general settings section about my business on Xero accounting software, as well as set up bank accounts. But now there is a little bit more settings to go through to make sure that I actually can easily issue invoices and I do not need to worry about any consequences if I have not split some particular income codes and etc. So how I can do it. On accounting tab or section, there is advanced subsection. Let's click there. And you might recall, but when I set up opening balances for my bank, this is the area where I came, yeah. But as you can see, there is advanced features, fixed assets, and also advanced settings for financial settings, chart of accounts, tax rates, tracking categories, and also conversion balances. So let's start with advanced settings on the right hand side and with financial settings first. So here you can change, for example, if you are VAT registered at a later point, for example, if I reach my 85,000 threshold for a year, then I can actually say that I am VAT registered and I can select a particular scheme. Then if you are in construction industry scheme, so CIS reporting is your important task, a part of your business operations, then there is CIS scheme option to select as well. Yeah, and then you have option to have backs. That would allow you to do a payment either for VAT or for CIS part, and also you can log dates when it's saying I cannot log dates because I have no organization set, but once you will have particular months completed or years, you'll be able to log periods, so no one else can do any changes in past period. Okay, and then you can change, of course, time zone as well. If you do any changes in above sections or parts, click save. Okay, next one is chart of accounts, and chart of accounts is an area where I can actually, where I can actually change or amend chart of accounts in line with my business needs. So for example, if I want to change something under expenses, then there is a tab separate for expenses, and those are all my expenses codes. So for example, if cost of goods sold, I would like to separate between my product types, I can do it here and use, for example, 311 code and say that it's direct cost and it's called snack bars particular type or snack bars from particular supplier, and later I can analyze information how profitable is that line of a product if I wish to. Yeah, and the same is about revenue codes. So currently I have only 3 codes, but if I want to separate my products from my services, what I am providing, I can easily do it by adding new account. So click on add account type, I can select what would be my account type. There is information provided on right hand side, but the easiest way is to look here. So it says that if sales are under revenue, so your type will be revenue. So in my case, I will have revenue. Okay, so revenue is there. Code, a unique code. So sales were 200, then I can use next number in a sequence between 200 and 260, so I'll take 201. I can add a name, so I will say product snack bars, in case in the future if I decide to sell something else apart from snack bars, maybe snack crisps, healthy or vegetable based, I can add additional product type here. Okay, and I can add description, but that is optional. And then there is a tax. So if you want to apply particular tax, select from drop down list below, otherwise leave no VAT. So if I'm not VAT registered, like in my case, I will leave as no VAT. So if I want to show on dashboard watch list or on expense claims or enable payments to this account, I can tick one of these boxes available, otherwise leave blank as it is. Okay, and click save. So now product snack bars been added here. Yeah, so let's add another account. In this case I will use revenue code as well, but it will be for my service. So code I will use, let's say 211. I will leave from 202 till 210 in case if I will have multiple products in the future. Name I will have services weekly okay, subscription, and click save. So now I have services added as well here, and that's for my mystery weekly or monthly box, depending which customer will choose or select. Okay. And the same it can be for any other part, like balance sheet codes. So expenses and revenue is part of profit and loss statement. Equity, liabilities and assets are part of a balance sheet. So if I want to allocate particular codes to business account, cash account and credit card account, I can do it here. So for example, let's check what we have on liabilities. It's 8. So let's click on all accounts. Let's check. So 200 starts with sales, 400. Yeah, if I want, I can allocate codes 100. Doesn't matter a lot at the moment. If it will cause any issues, we can always come back and amend. So click on that bank account and can code add, for example, 101, and click save. Okay, and then it's changed to 101. For credit card, I will put 102 and click save. And cash account, I will select 110 and click save. So this is my case. I have all codes allocated to all new codes, including bank accounts. Yeah. So this is about chart of accounts. So you can mold it in a way how you want to make sure that it's easier to record transactions. Also, if you want to add additional expense codes which are not there, maybe it's for business insurance, you can create in the same way as I added separate revenue codes. Just select correct type, if it's expense or cost or where it falls. Just make sure that you allocating or do correct mapping of this code. Yeah. Next one is tax rates. So if you are VAT registered business, so you can check and amend tax rates provided by Xero. So if you need new tax rate, click new tax rate, enter details here, and tax will be added. New tax rate will be added to this list. Okay, so let's go back to our advanced settings. Tracking categories. Under this section we can add tracking category, and for example, if you want to make sure that create unique categories for transactions to suit your business needs. I have actually no direct example at the moment to advise when you would track categories. Maybe if you're looking for a particular project, that's a way how you could use categories and select which categories you want to look in under this section. Okay. And then last one is of course balances. So if you need to add an opening balances, this is where you can add. So example, if you migrate from one accounting software to another one, I can guarantee that Xero's got different guides if you want to transfer all your historic data from previous accounting software to this one. But if you previously used pen and pad or spreadsheets, so this is a way how you can actually add your opening balances. If example, this is your second or third trading period and you have opening balances in your receivables, payables, as well as assets and any other areas, maybe like equity. Yeah. So this is where you would come and add, like I added my business account and loan account there. Yeah. So this covers advanced settings section. So for VAT or for amendments to chart of accounts, you will need to go under accounting under advanced. And then on left hand side, of course, there is fixed assets. So if your business has different assets, like maybe you have stationary machines or equipment which will be used in your business for longer than 1 year, this is where you can create your register of all your assets. Click on you need to put set start date, and then you can add new assets, or maybe you can actually import. Just check how you can import your assets here. Yeah. So here would be all your, let's set start date of April. Okay, click save. Okay, now we have set date. So now I can show you how you can add a new asset, and this would be a template to fill in details about new assets. So for example, if I have machinery to pack my healthy snack bars in my case, then I would put maybe machine SFT, that would be my machine asset number. So I would give FA, it means fixed asset if I'm not if I'm correct. So prefix you can amend here, and you can also amend number if this is not very first asset number. So you would need to put, I would put sticker on my machine with FA0001, so it's easier to audit at the end of my tax year or financial year if you're a bigger business. Yeah, then I would select the purchase date when machine was purchased. So for example, it was on 27th. I would add purchase price, maybe it was 15,000. Then warranty expire, so select from year, so I can select that expire in 2027, and it will expire on June and June 26. I can add serial number. Okay, and I can select from drop down list asset types, which I would need to set up, so there might be different types, and I can add a description here. So book value would be when depreciation starts, so depreciation method you can select either straight line method or straight line, or reducing balance. Full depreciation purchase, not in my case, but for example, if you have some assets who can be written off at the purchase time, so in the same financial or tax year, you will be able to apply full depreciation of the purchase. If you want to keep register of, let's say, mobile phone which usage are less than 1 year, then you can actually keep that asset registers or add information here and keep as a part of asset register as well. Yeah. Then you can select how averaging method is. You can add a percentage and effective life of this asset, so which would be like useful life. So if I purchase this machine, I expect this machine to last 5 years, so I can put here as effective life. Instead of using percentage, I could say that it's 5 years, and I would most likely use straight line method. Yeah, and then you can save as a draft, and it can be of course authorized and approved by someone who actually makes sure that that price, purchase price, matches, and etc. So that's how we can add our assets in asset register or fixed asset register on Xero accounting software. Okay, so this covers accounting section. Just quickly scan through. Yeah, so under advanced there is information what you need to make sure that it's aligned, and also fixed asset register is there as well. Ooh, one order, second order, third order. Oh, and reminder, payment reminder from rent. Ooh, I have a couple of orders coming through, as well as some reminders that I need to make payments to my suppliers. Before I issue invoices and record invoices on Xero's, I need to add these as my contact details. So how I can add customers and suppliers on Xero? Let's have a look on next section called Contacts. So let's have a look at Contact section now. Under Contacts there is 3 subcategories, so all contacts, customers, and suppliers. If we will add customer supplier, it actually will not separate it. It only will start to separate between contact, either it's customer or supplier, only when we have issued invoice or we have registered invoice on our system. So if we have issued invoice, that client or contact will become customer, and if we have registered bill on systems, then that will record as a supplier. Yeah, so let's go to customers and add new contact. Click on new contact button at the top. Okay, here we are presented with contact card, and it is actually a little bit long, but we need to fill in information as much as possible. Okay, so contact name, in my case it will be, in this case I will have my customer, so it will be Jane Johnson. Okay, so primary person, you can leave the same, or if you have different persons, then you can add different person's name and surname. Okay, an email address, I will use my email address for this sample or tutorial purposes. But if you have provided email address, for example, for your customers, that would help you to distribute invoices automatically to that particular customer. But if you have registered, for example, or added supplier invoices, it will be easier to manage any communications by sending, let's say, supplier statements if you have provided or added email address on their contact detail card. Yeah, so I will add my email. So I will add my email so I can show you how communication happens and how it looks like. Okay, so if you have phone, fax, mobile or direct dial numbers available, add those there, as well as if you use Skype names or you have Skype name of your supplier or customer, you can add it there, as well as website. Next one is postal address. You can find address by start typing address, and it will give a list of options available, so you can pre-fill it automatically or manually type in by adding information there. So next one is street address. If you click on this same as postal address, it will copy information from above. If you have different postal address and street address, type in two separate areas separately. Yep. Next section is financial details. Here, if this is a customer, you can already select sales settings. So from here, you can decide if you are VAT registered, so you can say sale will include VAT or it's include. So in my case, I'm not VAT registered business, so I will have no tax. But default account, that's my revenue or sales or income code, what I would like to allocate to this particular customer, and it would be starting with 200, and this will be under product and snacks. Okay, if this contact detail is supplier, you can do the same for purchase settings, take it out and select one which applies. So either supplier provides invoice with included tax or excluded tax or no tax, like in my case. And default account, it can be cost of goods sold, but if you separate, then you can select one which applies. And the same if your contact detail provides different other services, then just search by cost category or code from chart of accounts where you want to allocate that particular service or products or materials, what you will purchase from this particular supplier or contact detail. So when you will add information or select this contact detail, it will automatically pick up this code from what you have defaulted on their contact details. Yeah, but you can always go and amend it at a later time when you try to add an invoice. So I will select cost of goods sold in my case. If you have VAT details, you have space to add it there, as well as add company registration number of this contact detail, so either customer or either supplier. If you set a credit limit, so for example, if you set 100 or 200 pounds a credit limit, you can decide what action is taken when this credit limit level is reached. So that means that invoices are issued to that limit, but that person haven't paid yet. So that's more for a customer. So if 200 pounds credit limit is reached, so I will type it in here, then I can decide what can happen. So on drop down list, you can say that blocks sending invoices from credit past credit limit. So if you would issue invoice above 200 pounds, there will be no invoices going out, or there will be a warning message saying that this customer have reached their credit limit. Yeah, or you can say that do not block sending past invoices past credit limit. So your choice. Yeah, if you use credit limits. If you apply or give a discount to this particular contact, or this contact gives discounts to you, you can add it there. Also, currency can be changed or added if you haven't got multiple currencies here. Okay. Batch payments, information can be provided there. Bill due date. So bill due date is a supplier invoice due date, and invoice due date, that means that I'm issuing out to customers. So Jane is customer and I'm giving 7 days following the days after the invoice date. But if you provide any other terms, have a look from one of the options provided from this drop down list. Yeah, okay, days after invoice date, correct. And then if you have Xero network key of this customer, so customer uses Xero as well, then you can copy customer's Xero network key here. So once you issue invoices, they will automatically go to their account, and the same applies to supplier. If your supplier uses Xero, so they can provide their Xero network key, and once they will issue invoice, it will automatically be recorded on your system, so you can revise and confirm or approve that particular invoice. Simple and easy, right? Okay, so once you have filled in all details for this contact person, click Save. Okay, so now Jane has been added. I have option to add files. For example, if I want to upload from the library, in that case it's been uploaded on my Xero account as well through files section, or I can upload files from my computer. For example, if there is signed contract, so I can attach to Jane Johnson's account here. Okay, under options I can add it to group. So if I have group created, so I can add this contact to particular group. I can merge with another account, or I can archive if you do not use or issue invoices to this contact, or create or receive invoices from contact. And then of course I can still edit if I wish to edit this contact. When you click on these arrows, so it just minimizes information and it's easier to review. On left hand side, I can issue new sales invoice directly to Jane from her contact account, sales credit note, or bills, and etc. Yep. So this is the way how we can add a new contact. So I will add now supplier contact detail, and it would be for my rent bill. So for example, it will be the same approach, only difference will be that I will, instead of selecting sales codes, I will add more, new contact, something doesn't happen. Okay, new contact is there. Okay, so I do apologize, don't know what happened. So instead of adding sales settings to my rent bills, rent supplier, I will add purchase settings, and I will select default account called rent here. So when I will record rent bill, this will be defaulted to rent, and my VAT is no tax for rent bill. Yep. So I will add a couple more contacts now. So I have added multiple contacts on my list, and I can, if I select, I can actually okay, it doesn't allow to do so. If I want to click or change something, just go through this section, click on, for example, I clicked on Lucy, then you will be brought back to an actual section where details can be amended or information can be seen about this particular customer or supplier. Depends who Lucy Brown will be, either she will issue invoices to us or we will issue invoice to her. So this is the way how we can add contacts on Xero accounting software. So mixed nuts and raisins, these ones are peanuts and chocolate. Then I have hazelnuts and almonds. So I have different kind of products what I am selling to my customers. How I can separate those on Xero. Also, not only I sell my products, but I also use services like rent, phone bill, or maybe internet. So how I can add those services to make my life easier when I record transactions, either issue invoices to my customers, or when I actually use some services or purchase products. So how I can add those when I record supplier bills. Let's have a look on next section called Products and Services. So let's have a look at products and services now. To access products and services, we need to go to business section and click on products and services. So when we can use products and services, it's not only to create a list of products and services that we would provide to our customers, but it is also to add items like services or products what we would purchase from our suppliers. We can set a selling price and purchase price, but if I buy and resell products, I also can set up for the same item purchase price as well as selling price. Yeah, so let's add first a new item. Oh, before I jump to new item, we can import items if you have a list of those available. Otherwise, we can add one by one. So click on new item and we are presented with item card. So top bit is about item details, so code, which is your generated or your assigned code, and description. So let's add first one. PR1 is product 1, and I have snack bar, and let's say cranberry. Okay. I can decide if I want to track inventory items. So in my case, I want to track inventory item and it will go to inventory. Only when I issue invoice, it will go to my cost of sales on profit and loss statement. If you will not track inventory, all purchases will be recorded in your cost of sales. Yep. And then we have two parts, purchases and selling side. So if I track an inventory item, I cannot deselect purchases and selling. That means that I'm purchasing and then reselling. If you have a service or product where you do not need to track inventory items, you will be able to deselect the one which is not applicable. For example, if I sell only services, then I would deselect purchases and then I will have only section available for sales. But if I use services, for example, I have phone bills monthly, then I can only add information for purchases section and deselect for selling section, so there will be no information required to enter for selling. So let's start from my snack bar, which is cranberry snack bar, and I will say that I want to track inventory for this product. So that means that I'm buying it and then selling. So okay. Cost price, when I buy it, I will say it's 50 cents, and main account is cost of goods sold, so there is one code. But if you add multiple different expense group, direct expenses relating to cost of goods sold, you can select one which is more appropriate. For example, if I have separate cost of goods sold code for cranberries, for hazelnuts, for peanuts, and etc., I can separate them and select and allocate to that particular purchase code or expense code or product group. Yeah. So cost of goods sold, I will have no VAT, but if you have VAT, select one from this list. It's quite a long list with all VATs or EC codes and etc., so you can select one which is applicable. Description you can still change or leave as it is. So if supplier provides particular product code, so you know that that type and that product what's been sent to you matches with supplier documentation, you can add that information there before or after if you wish to. So you can amend description line. And then I sell this product and I sell for let's say £1. At sales account, I have added two separate revenue codes. One is for services and one for product. So in my case, it's product for snack bars, no VAT, and snack bar cranberry is there. So I can save and add another, or I can click save. So in my case, I will save and add another. I will add now my service, so weekly subscription for mystery box. So code will be service 1, and I will have mixed healthy snack bar box, pack of 7, and it's weekly subscription. I will not track inventory for this healthy snack bar box, but if I will want to, I can select, and then I need to provide details for purchase and sell. So in my case, I will not track for inventory items for these boxes. And I purchase those items mainly as a singles, so I can provide costs if I want. So cost price, I had 7 times 5, so I will say 350. Purchase account, cost of goods sold, and mixed healthy snack bars subscription, and I sell these boxes for £6, and sales account is services in my case, and description is the same there, and save and add another. So I have added customer side of items, but now how I can add actually like service item what I would purchase. So for example, I have rent bills. So in the same way you can add code. In my case, I will use unique code like rent, and I will say it's rent bill, and of course I will not track inventory for my what I'm paying to suppliers for. And it will be not, I'm not selling rent or not renting premises out. I will have a purchase, so that means my supplier costs will be towards my bills when I will be adding those items on. So cost of price, I have £350 per month, and my purchase account you can search or select from drop down list, and I'm searching by rent is there, and rent bill, and I can add more details like monthly. Okay, and save and add another one. The same way is about, for example, phone bill. I will use code as a phone bill, and I just incur costs, so I will just add as a purchase price. And phone, I'm searching for it, and it's telephone and internet the same, under the same general ledger code, and phone bill, and I can add monthly here as well. Okay, and save. So when I save, you can see there is my list of my products and services, as well as how much it would cost to me and how much would be if I would resell. And I can see that I have only 2 codes which I use to sell to my customers. So I have only snack bars for cranberries. I need to add couple more products what I have actually in my storage room in different types and flavors. So let's add a couple more new items. So now I have added my different types of snack bars. There is a couple more that I will add once I will start to issue invoices to my customers. So this is a way how you can add new items on Xero accounting software, and not only items that you would use to issue invoices to your customers, but also items when you record your supplier invoices as well. I received my parcel, and this is a box of protein bars for my mystery boxes what customers would purchase from me. So this is my new supplier of protein bars. I'm so excited to check out. So whoa. Okay, yeah, here it is. new protein bars, 40% protein. So this is my new supplier, and I have also received an invoice in my mailbox. So how I can record supplier invoices. Also, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 only. I will request a credit note because in this box it should have 12 bars and I have only 11. So how I can record also credit notes that I have received from suppliers. So let's have a look on next section about suppliers, recording invoices, recording credit notes, and if there is something else we'll cover in the next section. So how I can record my supplier invoice that I have received for 12 protein bars. So my new product type, what I would be using into my mix boxes for my customer orders. So to add a new supplier invoice, we need to go to business and select bills to pay. Okay. To add a new bill, we can click here. And now we need to fill in details in this table. So firstly, we need to select supplier. So in my case, it will be, I will call it as a Protein Limited. And because it's been not in my list, I can click new contact and it will add automatically this new contact onto my contact list. Invoice date, I will select on 27th. Due date is on 1st of July. Reference number is supplier invoice number. So I have invoice number, this one, okay. And now I can add an item. So from drop-down list, I can select items what I have actually added, but this is completely new snack bar, so this is a protein bars now. And I can add it by clicking new item. Here I need to fill in details about this new product. So item code will be product, I think so was product 6 now, and item name will be protein bar. Okay, I purchased this item, so unit price, in my case for protein bars I need to pay 80 cents, and purchase account I can select or add a completely new account, for example if I want to separate, but I will keep the cost of goods sold. Tax rate is no VAT, and I can amend description of this purchase item. If I sell this item, I can tick this box and I will be able to add a selling price. In my case, protein bars will be part of my mix healthy snack bar box. So I'm not selling it part of like as a separate item. So I will just keep or deselect. And I can click on I track this item, but in that case you will definitely need to add a sell item information. So that means if you want to keep as part of inventory, you will need to buy and sell price and information provided. And click save. So in this way our items been added. So invoice was for 12, so I meant quantity for 12 bars, no VAT, 960. That is the price what I should receive on my supplier invoice, and it's matching exactly. So on left hand side I can save as draft, save, continue editing, save and submit for approval, save and add another one. So in my case I will click save and submit for approval, and once we have added this one for approval, we can go to next step, and there is awaiting approval section. Here we can click on this reference, which is supplier invoice, and attach, for example, copy of invoice what we have uploaded. So this icon is a copy of to attach a copy of support document of this invoice. So we can use from library if we have sent to ourselves and it's part of our files section, or we can use upload files and use from our library saved on our desktop. Yeah. Then if we have reviewed and approved, person who have approval rights can approve this invoice, and click on approve. And now this bill has been approved. So when I go to my bills to pay section, there is one invoice under awaiting payments, and it is for 960. But as I said, I checked and I actually have received only 11. So I sent a message to supplier and advised that instead of 12 bars, I received 1. So they send me a credit note for 1 item. The way how we can do, we can either create a new credit note, or when we go actually on this invoice, we can add credit note by clicking bill options here and add credit note. This would allocate this credit note directly to this invoice. So date, I will say today is the same date. Reference will keep the same reference. And I will say that I have only 1 for 0.80, and total I will amend to 80 cents as well. Okay, and I can save in the same way and submit for approval, or I can directly click approve. So now there is less credit note. So when I'm looking on my bill, PROT1234, then I can see that invoice was for 12 from supplier, but then there is also credit note received for 0.80, so for 1 missing item, and amount due now is 880. So when I click on credit note here, this is my credit note, which I can actually add a copy of credit notes that I have received from supplier. So this way, how we can record supplier invoice and allocate credit note if you have received one. But if you need to issue purchase order before, or you decide that every supplier invoice that we are issuing need to have purchase order issued before we receive supplier invoice. In that case, under business, there is option for purchase orders. From here, to add a new purchase order, click new purchase order. Add the contact details. So for example, Snack Limited is on my list. I would issue purchase order to Snack Limited so they can issue invoice and distribute stock to me. So date, I will say date was let's say 13th, delivery date, let's say 15th, purchase order number can be amended if required, and reference can be used if you have any other reference to use. Okay, items, when you click on drop down list, you will be able to allocate items. So in my case, there is cranberries, snack bars cranberry, and quantity I will say 100. Let's add the next line. So hazelnuts, I will say 200, white chocolate 150, milk chocolate 200, and nuts and raisins, I'll say 300. So this is a purchase order what I would issue to supplier Snack Limited. Okay, I can add at the below, I can add attention to, I can add telephone number, and I can also add delivery instructions. For example, if I require this stock to be sent in batches of 50 items at like every week maybe, so you can add any delivery instructions below. So I can save, example, if I'm only one in business, so I can just directly approve, or if you have user permissions and someone from your admin team actually issues purchase order, but then it needs to be approved, then you can save and continue editing, or save and submit for approval. Okay, so now it's awaiting approval. So when I click on this purchase order, I can click on approve. So now this purchase order has been approved, and I can send this to supplier. Okay, so it will be sent to this from me to supplier, and there is information that there's purchase order for amount and details below, and I can click send. Okay, so now this purchase order has been approved as well as sent out to supplier. Okay, so when I go back to my purchase orders, this purchase orders is under all section can see, and also under approved, and it's been sent out. Delivery date is 15th of June. So how I can actually convert this purchase order to supplier invoice? So click on this purchase order, and under options we have an option copy to, and now I can select where I want to copy this purchase order. Either I can copy to bill, which is supplier invoice, to invoice, which will be chargeable to customer, or particular purchase order to create another purchase order based on this purchase order. Yeah. So I can select that this is purchase order fully billed, so if there is invoice coming in for the full amount, or if I deselect, only partial amounts will be able to allocate. So in my case, I will say that I have received whole stock as well as invoice for all those items. Okay, and create draft. Now it's showing that this is a new bill. I can amend details. So firstly, date. So my date, I will keep the same. Purchase order was 13. Let's say Wednesday when I received my stock. That's when I received an invoice from supplier, and it is due actually on 17th based on terms and conditions from the supplier. Okay, and I can do it in the same way. I can save and submit for approval, or I can approve it directly. Also, I forgot to mention, you can add notes below if something needs to be known if you have multiple users. So this is an easy way to communicate details or information about this particular particular invoice or purchase order. So under every single section you will be able to add notes. Also, to attach copy, there is little like a page icon. When you click, you'll be able to upload files like supplier bill, copy of supplier bill. Yeah. Okay, I will click approve. So this supplier invoice has been approved. Okay, and let's go back to purchase overview. Let's go to purchase orders first. So it's showing that it's been billed, so status changed to billed now, and invoice, also purchase order has been sent, is showing us here. And when I click on from approved, it's moved to billed section, and the same details there. So this is about purchase order section. But when I go to my bills to pay, so invoice from Snack Limited has been added there for 475, and it has been not paid yet, so it's showing zeros. And also we can see for previous invoice, supplier invoice, what I added for these protein bars. So we can see that there is credit note, and that credit note being applied to an invoice is showing like little yellow square on it, and as we can see, there is nothing paid, nothing due, but we know that value of 960 have changed to 880. Yep. So this covers section about suppliers, how to add supplier invoice, how to add a credit note or record credit notes, as well as if you need to issue purchase orders, how you can do it and how you can convert purchase orders to supplier invoice, or if you wish to copy to another purchase order, or also if you need to recharge particular customer, where you can do it and in which way. So yeah, this covers about suppliers. So I have had a couple of meetings in town center, as well as I have purchased some wrapping papers, envelopes, bags, labels, and some ribbons. So all this stuff of course costs, and here's all my receipts. So how I can record expenses on Xero? So let's have a look. So I covered suppliers section in previous section. So how I can record expenses? We need to go to business category and go to expenses claims. So here we will have two options to claim expenses. Either there can be mileage expenses or your cash expenses. Firstly, we need to set up expenses. So if we go to, I will repeat again, if we will go through business and we'll go to expense claims, we need to set up expenses by clicking on this blue button. From here, we need to go through setup. So firstly, if we want to turn on receipt analysis, we can do it, or we can skip for now. I will choose skip for now. If you want to turn on receipt analysis, click on this button. Okay. Next one, we need to select expense claim accounts. So all expense accounts from expense category that would be used mainly for expense claims. So in my case, let's go one by one. So firstly, there will be I would say entertainment, postage, general expenses, motor vehicle expenses, printing stationery might be, some IT software and consumables, rates, rent, no, repairs and maintenance might be as well, some subscriptions might be as well, travel international, telephone and internet, no. Okay, so I will select 10 accounts as part of expense claims. Okay. Next one, I need to select for mileage claim accounts, and in this case there will be vehicles. So motor vehicle expenses is the area where mileage claim account or mileage will be recorded. Okay, I use one account for mileage claims. Okay, and now I have only one user, but if you have multiple users, you will be able to select expense roles there. And in my case, I have only one option, and it's just me for now. Okay. Then get started. So firstly, I need to go to settings and make sure that I have allocated my account. So I will click on these three dots and edit expense settings. From here, I will say that expense, a personal bank account if there is optional, but in my case, I have credit card account for my expenses, and I will click save. Okay, something went wrong. Something wrong with system. Okay, let's go to expense claims. To add a new expense, you cannot miss, it's green button there. And when you click on drop down list, you have option to either do an expense claim or mileage claim. So if you have car or vehicle, even if you have a motorcycle, for example, you can do a mileage claims. In this case, in my case, I have no motor vehicle, so I will have explained expense claims like more travel, train, or using taxi and etc. So click on expense claim, and here on left hand side we'll be able to upload receipt, and on right hand side we will be able to add more details on information. So if I have multiple lines on particular receipt, maybe it's subscription receipt with an admin fee, we can itemize it. So if we click on itemize, we will be able to add another line and add more details. So I need to just delete. Okay, I need to come back. So expense claim. So okay, let's upload first image, and in this case I will have I will say I had meal for 33.35, so this is kind of copy of my receipt. I will add a purchase amount, so 33.35. Description, meal with supplier, okay, potential supplier. Spent at, where was the money spent? I will say that it's restaurant B, and I can select date when this has been spent, and I will say it was spent on 24th. Select an account, and it is meals. So only those 4 categories what I selected will show up. So in my case, I had entertainment, 100% business related, so I will allocate it there. I can assign to particular customer if I need to recharge these expenses, and also I can use labels if I use, okay? And once I'm happy, I can save a draft, I can submit, I can approve directly, or I have options save draft and add another, submit and add another, or approve and add another. In my case, I will approve and will add another receipt. Okay, so let's click upload, and I will select stationery, click open. So I have about £40 in stationery. Just make sure that the amount is exactly the same, so we'll say 06. Okay, description, for office. Okay, spend at, I will say that it's spent at book limited, and spend on date, I will say that I spend on 25th. I can select account, so in this case it's printing and stationery. It's the same, I can assign to customer and label. And once I'm happy, I can approve and add another expense if I wish to. Okay, so these are the expenses that I have added on my list. So 73.41 still to be paid. If I click on these 3 dots, I can edit or decline. If I click on edit, I will be able to edit information here, and it also shows a history, who added and when. Okay. So I have entered expenses, but how I can mark those as paid? So to mark expenses as paid, we need to go to pay section. And here at the top, there is pay all. So in my case, pay all to Rita K, 73.41. Now, there is both separate lines added. So when I click on expense claim, I will be able to record a payment here. So for example, pay date was on 27th, and so which date was 25th? I paid with credit card, so 25th, and credit card account, and reference, I can say expense. This one is stationery. Okay, add payment. And this being marked as paid. And the same about next claim, expense claim, 33.35, date paid, 24th, paid from credit card account, and this one is mail. Okay, and add payment. Okay, so now when I go back to my business and expense claims, there are both expenses, and when I go to pay section, there is nothing to pay. So this is a way how we can actually record expenses and mark those as paid on Xero's accounting software. So I have 1 cranberry and 1 peanut bar to pack. So peanut bar and cranberry. Okay, this order is packed as well. So I have a couple orders today, what I have packed for my customers. And I need to issue invoices. So how I can issue invoices to these customers? Also, I had a request for a quote of 100 protein bars and 100 mixed selection of healthy snack bars. So how I can issue that quote as well? And once customer would come back to me and confirms this quote, how I can convert this quote into an invoice. Also, if for any reason some customers request a credit note, how I can issue credit note on Xero as well. So let's have a look on all these points at Xero accounting software now. So now I need to issue invoice to my customer, which is Lucy in first place. So to issue invoices, we need to go to business section and there is invoices. To issue quotes and then to convert to invoices, we will need to go to quotes first. So let's start on first part on issuing invoice to Lucy. So to issue a new invoice, click on new invoice here. And because I added Lucy already to my contact details, she will be already on my contact list. So I will select Lucy. If you have completely new customer, just start to type in details and it will add automatically to your contact list this particular customer. Okay, so my due date of invoice was 13th, invoice date was 13th and due date was 20 for Lucy. Invoice number will be automatically generated by system, but you can still amend if you wish to do so. In my case, I will just leave as it is. And also you can provide any additional reference if need to be quoted. You can preview this invoice and also we can attach an additional files, maybe like product return forms if required. To add an items, so either we can select from drop-down list already added items or we can add completely new item, fill in details here and you will be able to save and this will automatically fill in details for you in that line. So in my case, I have invoice to issue to Lucy for 3 particular products. So she ordered 50 snack bars, hazelnut snack bars from me. Also, she ordered white chocolate 50 bars and mixed nuts and raisins 50 bars. So if you need more line items, just click add a new line. From drop down list you can add additional 5, 10 or 20 rows if you need. Okay, so in my case I need only 3 rows for this particular invoice. If I want to add a discount or I'm providing discount, I can add it here as a percentage and it will automatically reduce amount to when discount is applied. So we can save as draft, save and continue editing, save and submit for approval, and save and add another customer invoice. But if in my case I'm the only one who issues and approves invoices, so I'm the only one in a business, then I can approve it directly, approve and add another customer invoice, and approve and print. So in my case I will approve and add another invoice. Okay, so another invoice will be for Alex. And Alex, as you can see, it's not on my contact list. So I will add Alex Smith and click on add Alex as a new contact, and it already shows that this contact is new to my contact list, which is perfect. Select the date when invoice was issued. So I will select, for example, 15th. And due date will be 22nd. Invoice will be 0002, automatically defaulted and sequenced based on previous invoice number issued. Reference number, if there is anything to quote there. And we can attach support files as I mentioned previously. Items, so Alex ordered from me actually services. He wants 5 weeks of 5 weeks of healthy snack bar boxes delivered every Monday to his house. Okay, and the same, either save, approve or cancel. In that case, nothing will be saved. You do not need to delete all these rows. You can leave them empty, doesn't matter. It will read information what is important. Yeah, and I will click approve and add another one. Okay, so if I click approve and add another one, but I don't want to actually add another invoice, I just can click on invoices, and when I click on awaiting payments, there is my 2 invoices and they're all actually already overdue. Okay, so how I can actually issue a quote and convert to an invoice? To do so, I need to go to business section and click on quotes. Here, click on new quotes button. And we are presented with a template or table for a quote. Okay. So let's add a contact. So Jane asked me to issue a quote to her, and quote date, let's say it was 15th, and expired date for quote, I will say it was 7 days. Okay, this gives a quote number 0001, and I can add a reference if there is anything what I need to reference based on Jane's request. I will keep blank in my case, so if you haven't received any other notes or anything to use as a reference, just keep a blank. Okay, items, she asked me to provide a quote for milk chocolate bars, so let's say 25, and add new row, and also she asked for white chocolate bars as well, and the same for 25. So she is a teacher at school and she wants to make surprise for her little kids. It's cool. So I can provide terms in this box, like more details if required, and also I can attach files, select files from system and attach there. Okay, so to save this quote, I can save here, save and add another one, or save and close, or I can distribute this or send this directly to Jane or mark as send. So in my case, I will click send. This is an email what would be sent to Jane, so contact name is Jane Johnson, and there is the details about this particular quote, and click send. Okay, so quote has been sent to Jane now. Okay, so when I go to my mailbox, let's refresh it. There is a quote 0001 to Jane Johnson. There is a text of this quote and also attached file which looks like so. Simple and nice. Okay, so now when we go back to quote, Jane came back to us and approved, so we can click mark as accepted. Okay, so now it's accepted. So if I go back to quotes list, so it have moved from sent to accepted now. And to issue invoice or convert this quote to an invoice, we need to open this quote, and at the top right corner we can create an invoice. Okay, and mark as invoiced, so quote will be marked as invoiced, and click create. So now this is new invoice to Jane Johnson. Date, I will select date as let's say it was on 17th, and due date was 24th. So invoice will be number 3. I can attach any support documents if required, and I can approve, and I will just keep approved. Okay, so now I can email this invoice, I can print as PDF, I can attach still files, and also under invoice options I can repeat this invoice, I can void or decline or stop it, I can copy it, edit, add credit note if required, or share an invoice. Okay, so So if, for example, I need to issue a credit note, let's go back to invoices, a little bit slow. So for example, if I issued invoice, but there have been some issues with particular invoice, then what happened? Some weird things happened in my account. So for example, if I have invoices, but I need to issue a credit note, so how I can do it? So if there is particular invoice which has been not paid yet, but we need to issue credit note, then we can go to that invoice and click on invoice options and add a credit note. Here we can fill in details. So for example, we need to issue credit note for 5, 1 and 5 of another kind. Okay, just making sure that the information is fine. I will keep on 27, for example. Okay, and I can click approve in my case. Okay, so when I go back to my invoices, now due amount is only 40. So when I click on Jane Johnson, there is credit note applied for £10. And I can actually email this credit note to customer, print or download it and send in different ways. Also under credit note options, I have option to copy or edit this credit note. So this is a way how we can issue credit notes to particular customer invoices if required. Also, I showed in this section how we can add or issue new sales invoice, how we can send quotes and convert those to invoices, and also allocate credit notes if we have credit notes to allocate to particular invoice. But if we need to just issue credit note, then just click new credit note here and fill in details like you would fill similar way like you would issue an invoice, and then distribute to customer and possible make a refund if required. So yeah, so this section covers about sales. My business is actually doing very well, and I have decided to ask my sister for help to pack customer orders. Well, on part-time basis or at least over the weekend. But before I will ask her, I was actually considering how I can manage payroll. Will I need to have a separate accounting software or some sort of payroll software? But to my surprise, I actually came across that Xero accounting software have a separate section called Payroll. How amazing it would be if I could submit payroll reports directly to HMRC based on RTA basis, as well as manage my employees from one accounting software. So all business operations in one place. So let's have a look on next section called Payroll. So let's have a look at the next section called Payroll. So firstly, let's click on Overview. And here I need to add a payroll account, for example. So I am brought to a payroll settings section. So there is information about my organization, HMRC, calendars, holidays, workplace pension, pay items and opening balances. So first about organization. Firstly, I need to select a bank account, so it will be business bank account. And there is already defaulted chart of account codes where like your taxes or wages will be recorded once they will be calculated. Yeah, I would say calculated. So for example, pay-as-you-go earnings, there will be going to 825 and 477 is salaries, and also about payables and liabilities accounts for national insurance and etc. So they are defaulted. If you create a new code, you can come here always and update to the one which you would use as a default account when you post your journal on Xero accounting software. Okay. Next one is payroll payments and tracking. So back service user numbers. This is optional, as well as optional for employee groups and timesheet categories. Okay, and if you want, you can upload company logo for communication. So once you do any changes to this section, click save. Okay, let's go to next section, and it's HMRC section. Here you will need to provide your PAYE reference. So if you have employees or team or colleagues, what you manage, mainly team, then that means that you as a business owner will need to pay salaries or wages and report those to HMRC. And to make sure that you're recording correctly, your business will have a PAYE reference. So in my case, I haven't got PAYE reference, but I will just try to type random numbers. Okay, and the same, you will have account office reference and corporation tax. If you're a limited company, advisor is optional. If you are self-employed, like in my case, I will have sole trader business, so I will have a unique taxpayer reference, so UTR code. But if I'm just recently started my business and I still haven't registered, because I have deadline by 5th of October to obtain tax UTR number, reporting for previous tax year, so tax year ending 5th of April 2022, then I need to get get information from HMRC by 5th of October, if I recall correctly. So, but it's optional to provide here as well. And then there is econ number. If you have one, it will need to be provided there. Interesting, that code. Okay, so next questions, what you need to reply, saying yes or no, and as well as about claiming employment allowances. If you will claim, then select this tick box as well. Okay, RTA submission, this is most important one. That means that you can submit your payroll reports directly to HMRC from your Xero accounting software. So payroll is actually on Xero's accounting software. Do not need to look for another payroll software. I can do it in one place. How good is that one? Okay, and then you need to select if you are RTA as an agent or you are as an employer. In my case, I would say that I'm not as an agent. I will say no. Okay, so I don't think so I will be able to say, because I haven't provided RTA submission. Yeah, exactly. So if you have all this information, you will need to provide it here, and when you put user ID and password, it will link to your HMRC page as well. Okay, next section is calendars. Here there is a payroll current calendars, and we can add by clicking on button add. And this is where how often I would pay my employees, and in my case I would pay them weekly, and I can select the start date, and first payment date is there, and click add. Okay, so there is my payroll calendar added. If I have different teams or colleagues, I would say team members or staff on different terms, like some get paid weekly, some get paid monthly, then I can add multiple calendars and select, for example, monthly, start date first, and first payment date. Yeah, I would say that one, and click add. Okay, so second calendar been added as well. Fourth category is where we need to select or add holidays. So if it's England and Wales, these are the holidays. But if we want to add additional one, because example in middle of summer there is close down of a company, I can add a holiday there, so it will help me easier manage my calendar. And workplace pension. So if you are under workplace pension registered, then I will select yes. For example, yes, duty start date I will say 1st of June, and postpone workforce assessment I will say no, and next enrollment date, it's optional but you can select, and when you click next you will be able to select your pension provider. So just type in I think so, Smart Pension, one of them, so you can click and connect to Smart Pension, and in that case information would be that information can be provided to Smart Pension as well. Okay, in my case it's Smart Pensions. There is so many different pension providers, it's up to you which one you will select for your employees, including yourself if you pay salary yourself as well. Okay, next one is pay items. Here is about earnings, benefits, deductions, and etc. So all settings about payroll is available there. Okay, and then there is opening balances. If need to be added, we can add those there. Okay, so now that's about payroll accounts. Then there is pay calendars. Tax information, I could not add tax information and pension, and because those are, I would need to have unique numbers what would be provided to my particular business, but this is just for a test and trial purposes, so I cannot connect to HMRC now, but all that information what I covered is what you will need to fill in. Okay, and then add employees section. Here we can add our employees, so would be for example Miss, I would say Tasha. Okay, I can add a date of birth, for example 25th of 5 86. Okay, and female, and I can then search by home address or enter address manually. So for example it will be Happy Street. Okay, town or city, I will select London. County, okay, well optional, and postcode. Okay, and you can also note that this one is off payroll worker, so I will select add. Okay, so now I have added details about my first employee, and all these tabs will need to be looked at. Some of them are, for example, payslips, so if I have created documents that need to go to payslips, there will be option to download those there. So let's look at employment details. So employee number 11, employment start date, so let's say it will start from 2nd. So this one is, yes, so is it paid regularly? No, so in this case I will say that it's paid not frequently, it's as and when job is done. Holiday group, I can select which group it falls. Employee group, if I have separate employee groups, for example if I have big team and I have warehouse staff, finance staff, sales staff, so I can separate in different groups. National insurance number, I would need to provide it, so I will use the same AB 1 2 3 4 5 6C. And national insurance category, this is what you need to select, and in my case this would be I will say A category, and I can save and click next. Okay, so you will need to go through every single section to make sure the details are added there. Okay, firstly, employee number is required. Okay, was 101. Salary and wages. Okay, change salary and wages. Hours, hourly rate, hourly amount, I would say £20. And standard hours per week, I would say 15. And effective date, I will say from 2nd of July, and confirm. Okay, so I have added details about this employee rates and information. Okay, so now taxes section, so you need to provide if this person got P45 or this new employee without P45, declaration, this is their first job or this is currently their only job. That will depend what tax will be applied. Then there is a tax code what is already automatically picked up, and I can enter data from P45 if I have P45 report from my employee. Okay, I can add a student loan if this person has a student loan. So this is quite straightforward process on Xero accounting software to go section by section through and select what applies to particular employee. And also it asks if Tasha is a director. In my case it's not, and I will click save and next. Okay, and now it's all about pension asking, so details about pension can be added. Then there will be next section about time offs. Okay, so time off information can be provided there. Then there will be pay. So now, okay, let's go to pay. So there is a how pay will be made, either electronic transfer, check or manual, so that's meaning cash. Then payslip section. So once payslips will be generated based on once they are being issued, there will be a list of them and they can be downloaded. Okay, so there is pay templates, opening balances and any other notes that need to be added to this employee. Okay, so I can add a contract, for example, if it's been signed, or any letters that have been sent or communicated can be added there. So if I go back to my employees tab, Tasha is added there, so I can add a new employee or I can download PAYE reports if required for particular periods. And when I select, I cannot select Tasha, it doesn't allow, but if I want to amend, for example, add email address or change any other details, just click on that employee and you will be able to amend information if required. For example, I just at the top there is information, but there is more details which can be added, like job title and phone numbers and including email address. Okay, so this is a way how employees can be added, how you can set up yourself and actually run payroll from Xero's accounting software. So I have packed all my orders for today, and I need to tidy up my workstation and store my snack bars which have been not sent out in a storage room. And while I'm doing this one, I also remembered that I need to perform a bank reconciliation and make sure that at the end of the day my bank reconciles. Plus I need to check a couple of last emails and make sure that if customers have asked the statements or suppliers have asked for the statements, I have actually sent them, and if I haven't, so I can send them today as well. So let's store this away. Okay, I'm ready to check my bank reconciliations and send out customer and supplier statements. So before we look at reports, period end reports, there is a couple things what we need to cover. So one of the things are how I can send statements out to customers, and another thing is how I can do manual bank reconciliations. So let's cover these 2 points first. To send customer statements, we need to go either through contacts and you can go to particular customer, or we can go through business section and go to sales overview. So from sales overview section we can send statements, and here I can select. So for example, I want to send either activity, which will show whole list of activity happening in particular period. So you can see it's changed to date range. So for example, I will select from 1st June to 30th of June, and I will select Jane. Okay, we'll click update. So now there is Jane's account and outstanding balance is 90 and overdue is 40. So when I click on Jane, I can print. In that case, it will download, or I can email directly to Jane. So if I clicked on print, there is her activity statement of all what's going on, including 2 invoices and credit note. Okay, so this is a statement, and at the bottom of statement there is payment advice, how much need to be paid, how much is overdue, and how much is current. Okay, so if we want to see just a summary, like outstanding amounts as of 30th June, click update, and it's showing that overdue is 40. The same way, I can select, there might be multiple Janes as a customers. I can email directly, or I can print, so it will download. And in this statement, it's only showing overdue amount currently, so due date on 24th June is £40 and 24th is 50. So for payment overdue is only £40 now. So, and it's just showing summary, so I cannot see credit note on this statement. Okay, so this is a way how we can send customer statements from business section sales overview. If we go to contacts, for example customers, and I will choose Jane, so when I click on Jane, we can send statements under section called options, and there is send statements. And in the same way, I can select EVA activity, so I will select the date range. Let's select June, update. It will display information here. So if you go through contact section, you will see activity displayed there. If you will go through business and sales overview, you will be not able to see activity as displayed on your screen as it is going through contact section. Okay, and the same about outstanding. Click update, and credit note has gone, and it's just showing an outstanding amount. Okay, so this covered how we can send customer statements. How we can actually reconcile bank manually. So we need to go to bank accounts. So under accounting, there is bank accounts. And I have 3 accounts. I have credit card account, I've got cash account, and also I have business account. So if I can get automatic bank feeds, so link my Xero's accounting software with my bank account, and transactions will be pulled through automatically, or I can manually import a statement. So in my case, I will do manually import statement. And from here, we can upload 3 types of files, including CSV file. Okay, but you need to make sure that you download CSV template and headers are actually aligned as it is required. So for example, if I clicked on download CSV template, I think so it will open via Sheets for me. Then they provide 6 headers that need to be definitely noted on that particular working file. So just make sure that your CSV file got those information. So I downloaded and I aligned my bank account there. So now I will upload my CSV file. So click browse, and I have statement for June, and click import. Okay, so here when I scroll a little bit down, these are the columns what I had on my statement. So I just need to double check if that information is correct. So date, transactions they correctly, amount, that transaction amount is correct, pay, yeah, description, yes, and reference. I can actually from drop down list select reference. This is a reference, and check number. I can put a check number is there, but as you can see, there is more like account codes, tax types, analysis, and you can also use unassigned if you have any other columns which you do not need to require. Okay, And also, if you don't use headers, you can deselect this, don't import the first line because they are column headings. In my case, it is the very first row is headers or headings of my statement. So just be mindful about that one so you don't miss any lines. And click Save. Okay, 10 statement lines were imported. I will click OK. So now we are in a reconciliation process. So once we update it, for example, I will go back to bank accounts. Now I have another like an icon showing that there is 10 items to reconcile. Click on this button. And this is the area where we need to reconcile our account. So 10 transactions to reconcile. Very first one is snack £150, and I have an option on right hand side either to match or create completely new entry, transfer between accounts, for example, or discuss. Yeah, in my case this was deposit payment, so I will click match, and system will already provide any invoices available to which you can match. So in my case 150 need to be matched to this invoice because I paid the deposit, and I can click on split and says that this one is part payment of 150, so 325 is still remaining, and I can click on split. Okay, so now this invoice was split in 2 parts, so 150 is allocated, 325 is still left to pay. Okay, and I can click OK because it's already selected that part of amount, and click OK. Next one, so found limited payment, have found invoice, supplier invoice, and it's already matched or found a match, perfect match for it. If I need to discuss something, I can add notes there and not to match at the moment until I'm happy with what I have paid out. So for example, if someone else have made a payment but it needs to be discussed, that can be easily managed from this fourth like a tab. Okay, so I will match this one, rent 350, okay. Lucy, so I have received 150 for invoice and 22nd and 13th, so she paid quite late actually. Alex 30 is match. Next one, I have local shop, and when I look on match, there is no local shop actually available from my list. So easiest way is to clear search. Okay, where is my reconcile? Let's go back. So easiest way is to create completely new. So name of the contact would be a local shop, so it's easy to copy information from here and add information here. So this would be a new contact that would be added, and what that means where I want this cost to go. So in this case was admin office, okay, general expenses, and I can add information, so I will say office supplies. Okay, and I can click OK, and this will be posted on system. Okay, next one, post limited matches with transaction. Bank fees. For bank fees, I can actually create bank rule, but we'll cover a little bit later. So for bank fees, I actually do not need to add a name, and I can directly put to bank fees this one, and I can add bank fees. Okay, yes, okay, so okay, save transaction, and now I can match this. Okay, next one, Jane 50 matches. Okay, and then there is bank transfer to make. Because I made a bank transfer from bank to my credit card, Then I need to go for third section, and it's called transfer. So I've made from my bank into my credit card account, okay, and reference is credit card, and click OK. So now I have reconciled all my transactions. So when I go back to bank account, there is nothing to reconcile, and also in credit card account I have £200 there and 90 in cash account. So this way how you can reconcile your bank account. And also you need to make sure that 940 is your statement balance on 24th June matches actually what you have in your bank account. To make sure that you have no difference or discrepancies, the easiest way is to get bank feeds, so it automatically brings in information. And also you can check if there is any transactions which have been not reconciled. So for example, in my case, I have balance on statement 940, but balance in my Xero's account is 850. So why is this different? So when I click on this different information, it provides actually details why there might be balance on your account. And one of the things why there might be balance, when I look under manage accounts, I can look at a reconciliation report, and there is one transaction which haven't been actually reconciled. So on 1st of June I took money out, £90, and this is my difference why it doesn't match. So these haven't been recorded in my bank account, so maybe I need to do adjustment and make sure that balance what I had entered as the opening balance is not the right balance at that moment. So that is the reason, and this is how you can see what are the difference on your bank reconciliation account. So in this section I covered how we can send statements and how we can do a bank reconciliations before we jump into our report section. So invoices issued, bills recorded, okay, expenses recorded as well, and bank recs are just completed. So I have performed all these tasks or operations on Xero accounting software. But now I want to know how well actually I have done. Have I made a profit? And if I have made a profit, that means that my business is growing, and possibly I will be able to recruit my sister on part-time basis because I have quite growing business. But have I made profit? Let's have a look at next section called reports. So let's have a look at report section now, and of course the number one report is profit and loss statement. But to access reports, we need to go to accounting and click on reports section. Here at the top will be our favorite reports like filtered. If you don't want, for example, I don't want account transactions, deselect or untick that star and it will be gone. So there is lots of reports regarding relating to financial performance, like cash summary, budget variances, budget summary, financial statements, which is my two favorite, balance sheet and profit and loss. But also there is an option for management reports, disposal schedule, depreciation schedules if used, and fixed asset reconciliations if they're used. Also payables and receivables. Here we can see who haven't paid us and who we haven't paid, and there's lots of different reports which we can select and utilize. Next section is payroll, so we can see employees details, also look at P11s, P60s, payroll activities, summaries, and etc. Reconciliation section would include account summary, bank reconciliation summary, bank summaries, inventory item list as well. Taxes and balances would be more like combining general ledger, journal reports, trial balance, foreign currency gains and losses if you use different currencies as well. And also when you hover above this single report, there is like a pop-up, like I would say like pop-up window comes up, and this gives an information, more detail about this particular report. Okay, and last section includes its transactions, so it's about account transactions, duplicate statement lines, inventory item details, inventory item summaries, and etc. So the most important ones, which I have marked with stars at the top, but if you want to add, for example, cash summary, click on this star and it will bring up to your favorites. So create a list of your favorites. You will not need to scroll till bottom to try to find out, for example, inventory item detail list and etc. So let's have a look at balance sheet first. So balance sheet will show details about who haven't paid how much, who haven't I paid and how much, as well as my balances of my cash or money accounts, so in my bank account or credit card account, as well as my inventory levels and any other liabilities, and if I have loans. So firstly, make sure that you change your date of, because it's taking financial year end of previous year. In my case, I want to see as of today, and click update. Under more options, you can select either you want to look at accruals basis or cash basis. So accruals basis, it doesn't matter when money has been received or when you have paid money out. All transactions will be recorded in your balance sheet or any other reports, like even profit and loss statement. But if you select cash method, which is more in line with my business operations because I use cash accounting methods, that means that I only report transactions or information based on when I actually have paid or when I actually have received money. So that's difference between accruals and cash accounting methods. So I will select cash and click update. Okay, so I'm clicking update in my case. So when I'm looking at information, I have in business account 850 and in cash account I've got 90. Also on credit card account I have 126 left because I spent for my expenses. Okay, inventory is £71. Also I have director's loan 1,500. That's been firstly invested in my business account. And then there is current year earnings, so that is profit and loss. That is loss. Actually I have made loss. Okay, so to see more details, you just need to click on these numbers and you will be provided to particular report to see a breakdown what's happening in that account. So for example, in balance sheet it was reporting £71, so you can see a breakdown of any purchases. So there have been payables payment, and then there have been actually invoices issued to particular customers, and that would make a balance which would be used in a balance sheet. Okay, so when I go back to reports, and now I want to look at my profit and loss statement, and I know that I have made loss, but still need to have a look. So I will look on profit and loss statement ending 5th of April, so I'm covering whole period. Just make sure that under more you need to select which basis you're using. So in my case I am using cash accounting method and click update. So here I can see that from snack bars I have made, or I have actually received in cash 158 and from services 72. Cost of goods sold have costed me 79 so far, but the most hefty or heavy bill what have came in was rent bill 350. Okay, and it's why I have made a loss of 362.41. So if I want to look more in details, for example, if who haven't paid me, then I can go to reports and look at my payables and receivables section. So payables, that means that I would need to pay to someone. Receivables, I want to receive money from someone. So let's have a look on aging receivables detail. This will show all information in and out into account. So under more, there is particular categories or sections that you can deselect if you don't want to use, but don't forget to update once you do any changes. Okay, so now I can see that events haven't paid me 350 and Jane haven't paid me 40 as well. So
350 and 40. So 350 is like current, that's not due yet, but Jane do own me £40 already. So in that case 390 is in the future what will come into my account, or what I actually expect to come into my account. But also, while I'm looking at aging report for receivables, I also need to check payables, so how much I would need to still pay out to someone. And I can look on detailed or in summary. So if I look on summary one, it should provide very like line by line and not in lots of details. So for example, it doesn't show any invoices, it just show total for Protein Limited, and it shows for Snacks Limited. Okay, so I would need to pay 333.80. So actually I would need to make more sales to make sure that I'm making profit going forward, and I could actually recruit a staff member if required. So this covers accounting, from accounting section, payables and receivables. Also we can look at payroll. So if you will have payroll, you will have staff, you'll be able to look at payroll activity details and payroll activity summary. Based on reconciliations, we've done reconciliation on bank, so we can still review this information. Also we can look on inventory item list. When we look on inventory item list, we can see opening balances for any of items. Mainly I will look on inventory, what is left in our inventory. So there is a quantity on hand, so quantity on hand is left. So for example, cranberry bars, I have 30 still left, and I have lots of left of milk chocolate bars, 180. So I can use these reports actually to print out and do a proper stock count and make sure that this quantity is matching with what actually I have on my Xero's accounting software. Okay, so there's lots of reports, but you can go through and analyze your business operations and make sure that you don't miss any bits what might be very important to you to run your business. And utilize reports, because reports gives you summaries about any areas what you would maybe not see when you do day-to-day transactions. So it's quite a good way to manage your business operations and business overall. So this section covered reports. If you go to dashboard, that's like overall summary about your business and like key areas. So firstly, you will be able to see what is your balances in your business account, cash account and credit account, and if you have transactions and reconciliations, you will be able to see how your balance changes over the time. On the right hand side, there is invoices owed to you, so you can see that, for example, in my case I have 2 awaiting payments and 1 is overdue. Okay, then next one is bills I need to pay. So 2 are awaiting my payment, so I haven't paid 2 suppliers, and 1 is overdue for total amount of 325. And when I click on these links, they would direct me to particular bills and information or section where I can review that information. Also, if I would have expenses what I would need to pay, it would show here if I need to pay someone from team and I haven't paid for as I said, employee expenses. Okay, so this covered whole tutorial of Xero's accounting software, especially last part about reports and dashboard sections.
I hope you found my Xero accounting software tutorial useful, but if you have any questions or require any further advice, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye!